Minimalism and simplifying my life have led me to declutter and get rid of a lot of things. But also, there are some things that I started buying to simplify my life. It might sound a little bit controversial and they might not be exactly what you think, but believe me, it is possible. In this video, I will share 5 key things that I got rid of and 5 things that have helped me greatly in my simple living journey. The first thing that I let go or kind of stopped buying were like these extra pairs of something. For me, this is generally like sports equipment, so it could be like disc golf discs, climbing shoes, or something like that. I don't necessarily need a huge amount of things for one sport. One is enough. The same thing is, for example, with some Netflix subscription. Like, I don't need 10 different of these. One is enough, and after I have watched all the content, maybe I can just move on to the next one. There's no need to have everything at the same time. That just creates a lot of clutter in your head and maybe in your living environment. Another thing that I stopped buying were impulse purchases. You see on the street something super cool and you're like, oh my god, I need those pair of shoes, and then just a week later you regret that you bought it. Or what many times happens when I was working in like customer service for like an online store, people order something on a Friday night and then they send Monday morning a message that, can I cancel my order? I don't want it after all. What I do now is just, I really think, I don't usually buy anything the same day that I get the idea. I usually wait a lot of time before actually making the final decision to go forward with that purchase. The third one is hobby memberships. And this is because there's no time for me to do them all. Like at the same time I was playing disc golf, going to the gym, running, going to rock climbing, and some other stuff with friends at the same time as well. It's so hard, like mentally, when you are thinking that, okay, I'm paying for this service, I should really go and do that. But then you don't necessarily have the time because you have so many other things in your life. So I stopped a couple of these memberships and I feel like now I have much more time and I enjoy doing the things much more. And I started to also think more like these seasonal things, so that now I do this, maybe in the winter I can do that, next spring I can start that, and not think that I have to do everything all the time. The next one is practically free stuff. You know, sometimes you see crazy discounts on something that you didn't even think that you would buy, but somehow you go there in some shop and you see, oh my god, these socks are 60% off. It's a 10-pack of socks, let's buy them. And then you realize at home that you have so many socks already that you don't even need them, and you kind of lost the money as well. Like you thought you get a discount 60% off, but actually you lost that 40%. It would be 100% off if you didn't even buy it in the first place. I'm not anymore looking so much, what's the discount? I don't care about that. I care about the price and can it give me that value that I'm paying for it? And if yes, then is there some hidden like cost for me mentally? Not necessarily in that money, but like energy, mental energy, like space or something else. The fifth one is the amount of friends. And here I cannot say like I ditched friends, but it's just some like natural thing. You don't have time for everybody, and that's fine. Like you are not supposed to have 100 friends in your life and have a good connection with all of them. I mean, maybe there are some people that want to have that and do that, but then they have to take the time from other area of life away, and that was just not for me something I wanted to do, because I realized I don't need that many good friends. For me, it's the quality is so much more important. All right, and now we get to the good stuff. I waited for so long to start talking about the things that I started buying. And the first one is discounted stuff. And now you might be wondering, wait a minute, you just said don't get things that are practically free because there might be some cost or whatever, but just listen to this. There is a good point here. I think if you're a smart person, it's very important to use the sales as your advantage. For example, Black Friday is a big day for me, not because I go to buy some electronics and TV and whatever and they are practically free. I don't need those things, but throughout the year, I make a list of all the things that I need. For example, running shoes is a very good example. I need to buy those at least like once a year, twice a year, something like that. And Black Friday is the best time to buy those. There are other sales, like for example, spring sales. If you want to buy some winter stuff, that is, at least here in Finland, a big thing. And I always know throughout the year, what do I need and when is the best time to buy it. And how that simplifies my life is I don't have to constantly search online, like if there are some sales, going through the websites all the time, wasting like mental energy for that. It simplifies the life a lot, and also it avoids you from making the impulse purchases because you are constantly being intentional, like what do you need? Second thing I started buying was optimal structure. And what do I mean by this is basically education or do it for you service, something that saves you the time for doing all the research and doing everything yourself, and you get some sort of like guidance how to actually do it in the most optimal way. For example, having like a running coach that does for me all the workouts and prepares me for all the races or whatever I might have, so that I don't have to all the time think myself and waste the mental energy to do that, because it would require for me probably weeks, months, even years to actually learn the same things that he knows. So basically I'm paying him to help me save time. And I think that that is something that you can do in basically any area of life. And I do this a lot online, for example, going through online like digital courses. And also the best thing is that it kind of keeps you as well accountable. Like if you have this person who is doing it for you, or there's a certain structure that you actually follow it. To simplify my life, I started to invest in self-care to declutter my mental space. I realized, for example, that watching TV in the night isn't the best way for me to relax and kind of reset my mind. What actually gives that serenity was doing things, especially with friends, but sometimes even alone, that I love to do. So for me, it's sports where I have to be present. So for example, bouldering, rock climbing that I mentioned before. This thing, for example, for my partner is handcrafts. So here the investment is like quality gear, quality equipment that you can use. That if I do a lot of different sport, I actually invest in that sport, in those things. It might cost a lot, like I have spent more than I wanted in certain sports, but just I realized that still they give me better return on the investment, or that it's like positive. They give me more than I spend money on those things. And the fourth one was a container. I like how many people who does similar minimalist videos like this one, they talk about like storage solutions or whatever. I bought one container, like that was enough for me. It started as an experiment, but now I use it as a clothes, seasonal clothes, things that I don't necessarily use or need now, but I need it in another time of the year or month or something like that. It just keeps the living space much more decluttered, and I always know where to find those things. And another one is a notebook. I have bought these like maybe 3 in the past couple of years. I think that it's so important to simplify your life, to write down thoughts, to journal, whatever you might have in your mind. This is what I now do every morning. I write a few things like, for example, what would make today a great day? Or what is the main task of today? And I also use like digital tools for this, for example, Notion, but I still feel like using the pen and paper, especially in the morning, like first hour when you wake up, I don't want to use my phone to do something. I try to keep that tech free, so I take my pen and this notebook and I write down things. That's very good to simplify my own mental space and life. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will also enjoy this video next. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.